I need some baking therapy, y'all. I may be baking several things today in between pickling and canning things. It's been a busy week. Today, I am making a lemon sour cream pound cake. Do y'all know why it's called pound cake? Because you literally use a pound of several of your ingredients. First thing I'm going to use is a pound of butter. I got 4 sticks here. Room temperature. It's really important to try to get as much of your ingredients as you can to room temperature when you're making a pound cake. When I was pregnant with my youngest, there were 3 things that I craved. 2 of those a pregnant woman should not be craving, but I wanted it all the time. Italian food or Mexican food. Constantly wanting those things. Bugged my husband to death. Let's go to the Mexican place. Let's go to the Italian place. Always. The other thing I craved was lemon pound cake. And I got tired of going to the store and getting it when I wanted it, so I just started making them instead. I'm gonna get my, pause. Butter is going, and I'm gonna add half a cup at a time, 3 cups of sugar. You want this to mix really, really well. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit between additions. There's 1. Here's 2. Start to incorporate all that butter and get really creamy. Here's 3. We're halfway there. Here's 4. Give that a second to mix in. Number 4. 5. It's really starting to get creamy. You really want to incorporate as much air as you can into this because you're adding a lot of flour, but not a lot of leavening. So this was 5, right, Nathan? Okay. Number 5. Starting to pull together. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit so that it kicks out some of the stuff that was in the middle and pulls in some of the stuff that wasn't. There we go. And number 6. So that's getting really creamy, getting a lot of air added to it. Keep letting it add air for just a couple more minutes. Maybe not even a couple more minutes. I'm going to turn it down here in a second, and I'm going to start adding eggs. I have here 8 eggs, and I'm going to add 6 of those eggs straight on. Matt, why are you dancing? Turn it up just a little bit. That's 1. 2. Try to let those eggs incorporate as much as you can before you add the next one. Here's 3. Encourage it to pull some stuff from the sides because you want to get everything incorporated together before you add the next thing as much as you can, okay? So there's 3. Here's number 4. It's always amazing to me how when you're using room temperature eggs as opposed to cold eggs, the shells just break so much easier and faster than when you're using an egg straight out of the fridge. Turn that up just a little bit. So that was 4. Here's number 5. We're starting to look a little loose, a little bit liquidy. egg number 6. Now, I said I have 8 eggs. And the reason I have 8 eggs is because we're going to make this just a little bit richer by adding 2 more egg yolks. Slow that down. I'm going to divide out my yolks here. I'll hang on to these egg whites because you can use them. You can actually freeze egg whites in like ice cube trays and use them later for ingredients that call for only egg whites. Or you can do what I do and like maybe for lunch when I get this all blended in, I might make myself an egg white omelet just because it's good. See if I've got any fresh spinach outside. Put some spinach and feta in that egg white omelet. That is yummy, y'all. I like feta cheese a lot. I like lemon pound cake a lot too. My recipe, by the way, tends to overload for some reason. I don't know why. But I have a bundt pan right here and a loaf pan right here that my son was so nice to me and floured and greased for me. So I'm still letting this incorporate just a little bit more. And while that's incorporating, I'm going to add my dry ingredients together. I have 3 cups of bread flour here. Okay? I'll be adding vanilla to that in a second. 3 cups of bread flour. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Like I said, that's a lot of flour for just a little bit of leavening. Because part of the reason this rises so well is because of all the air that I'm incorporating into it. Now, I'm blending that, mixing that in together real quick. Nathan keeps looking at his watch. We got delayed and he's got to get ready for work. So he's being really good to his mom while I'm recording this real quick. Okay. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons. This is only half a teaspoon, so it's going to take 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 of vanilla. If you are making a regular just pound cake, you can actually add a little bit of mace to this, and it makes it a really good, nice flavor. But I don't do that. So, like I said, this is a lemon pound cake. There's going to be a lot of lemon in this pound cake, and I'll show you in just a minute what I did. First things first, I got to add my flour a little bit at a time. Really, dog? If you've watched my other videos, you know I tend to add it in about fourths. So I'm going to turn this up just a little bit so that it incorporates all that flour. There's a whole bunch of flour on the side. A little bit more flour. I don't know if y'all can see that powder flowing up through there, but I got it up a little bit high to add flour to it. So you can slow down and take your time. But I'm trying to whip as much air in here as I can too. A little bit more flour. And it's starting to pull together and kind of look more like a dough than a cake. Pound cake is naturally dense. You got a lot of air in it, but it's not going to rise like some of your other cakes. It's going to be a little bit heavier. Yeah, I need to slow that down. We're going to have flour everywhere. We kind of already do. Okay, add my last bit of flour now. Yes, this is a liquid measuring cup, but my dry measuring cup was in the dishwasher. And we measured this and then just put it in here because it's a big cup. Dry measuring and liquid measuring are, in fact, somewhat different. So make sure that you use the correct measuring cups when you're measuring. Okay. All of my flour is almost incorporated here. I've got just a little bit left here on the sides. I'm gonna whip a little bit more air into it. You can see that it's kind of fluffing up. So I have started getting deliveries from Imperfect Foods, and I really like it. If you are interested in that, the stuff is a little less expensive, and you get pretty good stuff. My recipe calls for the zest and juice of 2 lemons. Okay, zest and juice of 2 lemons is like 2 normal size lemons. I got lemons this size in my Imperfect Foods box. So I only zest and juiced 1 lemon because that was enough. Now, this is, like I said, it's a sour cream pound cake. So I'm adding 8 ounces, 1 cup of sour cream, and letting that incorporate. And you can see it is getting bigger. It's really starting to fill up my bowl here because everything's getting all mixed up together, and we've incorporated a whole lot of air. I'm going to turn that up a little bit to pull all that sour cream in and get all that air in there. And you might want to get a close-up of this because it really is fluffing up big time. So, the last thing I'm going to add is my zest and juice of my lemon. And trust me, this is going to be lemony. Look at that, is only from 1, y'all. This bowl's a little big for you to really get a good idea, but trust me, that is a lot of zest and juice for just 1 lemon. Turn that up. It's starting to curdle just a little bit because of the lemon, but when I turn it up, that lemon's going to get pulled in there and incorporated, and it's going to go back to a cakey type batter. So, I said before that it makes a lot, and it really does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first fill my my loaf pan. Sorry, it threw me off because the sound in here changed when I turned that off, and I've been talking over it so much. I'm going to put about 3 or 4 cups in here. I want my loaf pan about 2/3 of the way full. And then the rest of it will go into my bundt pan. So we'll go with 1 more scoop. I have made this before and forgot that it just makes so much, and then I ended up with a whole bunch of burnt lemon sour cream pound cake in my oven, which broke my heart because that's so completely wasteful. So I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna finish filling up my bundt pan, and I'm gonna get these in the oven for about an hour. You know how to test when they're done. Toothpick in the center, comes out clean. So I'll see y'all when these are done and show you how I do my glaze to go over them. Ooh, y'all look at these. I'm gonna let them rest for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna take them out, and I'm gonna show you how I make my glaze. I'm gonna glaze these babies up, and they are gonna taste so good. Ooh, look, one little spot where it's stuck a little bit in the pan. I guess that place is gonna need some extra loving in the form of glaze. And that one is gonna be ready to be glazed too. Just gotta let them cool a little bit. See y'all soon. I have here the zest and the juice of 1 lemon, a smaller lemon than the one I used for the cake, okay? I'm starting with 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. I may not need that much. I might need a little more. I just want to make sure that I get it to the consistency that I like. And powdered sugar is so funky because of how it just melts when you put it in liquid. I like to do just lemon juice and just powdered sugar. I like for my glaze to taste like a big old sweet tart, or maybe a lemon head. That's what I like for it to taste like, but a little extra sweetness in that lemon head. It's almost all of my powdered sugar, and you can You can change this up depending on the consistency that you want for your glaze. I like for my glaze, oh, there went some powdered sugar. I like for my glaze to look the way it's looking right about now. This is the perfect consistency for me for a glaze. Everybody's different. I like it to look just like this. You can see how it's just a little bit runny, but not super runny. It's kind of thick. And all I'm gonna do is pour it over the cakes. This is probably the easiest part of all this. After all of the mixing and blending and all that we did earlier. So just a real easy runabout. I'll probably make 2 passes with this. I like for it to run all the way down and around that. Okay, let's go for 3. You can make it thicker, make it more like a frosting if you want. I just like for it to get all gooey and in there. And then all over the top of this. Who cares about what it looks like as long as it tastes good, right, y'all? The reason I like for this to be a little bit more liquidy is because it actually absorbs better into that cake. Now, that stuff that ran off, you can certainly scoop it up, put it back on there, take another stab at it, or you can, once you slice your cake, you can dip it in there if you want. I want to show you guys what this looks like. It's still just a tiny bit warm, which is absolutely amazing. You can wait until it cools completely. It won't run off of it quite the same. But that is what my lemon sour cream pound cake looks like in the middle. And this, that's what my lemon sour cream pound cake tastes like in the middle. I'm telling you, y'all, this is so good. This was one of those pregnancy cravings that stayed with me the rest of my life. So, y'all try this. Make this. I promise you'll like it. If you like lemon at all, you will love this. Take it, or take the recipe, make it. Tell me you love it, and y'all take care.